Wow, that was loud. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Ash. I created the Meeting Adrian animatic, posted it a little while back, and it's been doing pretty good, I'd say. I don't know, I've never had a video this popular before on YouTube, so I'm very new to this. But I'm glad you guys liked it. That's great. I'm happy. We're all just being nerds about Project Hail Mary together on the internet. The thing is, though, that I noticed you guys had some questions and I figured rather than answering them individually for forever in the comment section, I just answered them here. That way I don't have to repeat myself a million times. It just makes life easier for me, for you, for everybody. So yeah, let's get into it. So the thing that seemed to confuse the most people is what exactly Adrian and Rocky meant when they invited Grace to be part of his family. You guys seem to be pretty split down the middle on whether it's, you know, he's part of a polycule, throuple, whatever with them, or the slightly more concerning suggestion, which is that he is now their pet/child, like has been adopted by them, which is not what I was thinking when I did this. I mean, I wanted it to be ambiguous so people could interpret it their own way, but I was not expecting people to suggest that he's their pet before he's just like, you know, their friend who they consider part of their family unit. These are people who have joined your family unit without actually, you know, fulfilling a romantic role or a child/pet adjacent role. They're just your friend who's you consider so close to you, their family. And that doesn't even take into account the whole found family or chosen family trope, which usually doesn't follow traditional family roles anyway. But that was kind of the direction I was going with Grace and Rocky and Adrian. For me personally, I had canon Grace as asexual and aromantic, and he and Rocky are like platonic soulmates. Think along the lines of Steve and Robin in Stranger Things or Bob and Yelena in Thunderbolts, you know? They are a pair of stray cats who bonded and now cannot be adopted separately. It's not romantic, it's not sexual, it's a secret third thing, except it's not actually that secret because there is actually a word for this. It's called queer platonic. I know, shocking. If we actually do a quick Google search here, you'll find actually a pretty good definition right off the bat. Linked to the Asexuality and Education Network, or ASEN wiki, and I'm gonna read the quote here. Someone in a committed, intimate relationship that goes deeper than a standard friendship, but is not romantic or sexual in nature. That is a queer platonic partner. Also, I'm not sponsored by AVEN in any way, but if you want to know more about asexuality, aromanticism, whether you're ace yourself or you have a friend or a partner who is, then I highly recommend having a scroll through their database. They are the largest online network and archive of asexuality resources that you can find. So I will drop a link in the description below for anyone who's interested in scrolling through that. Okay, the next question, I kind of understand where people are coming from, but also... So, like, a lot of you showed differing levels of concern when Rocky, like, rugby tackles Grace with a hug at the end of the animatic, which is fair. I mean, like, canonically, yes, Iridians weigh about 168 kilograms, which is 370 pounds for those of you who are metrically challenged. So yes, canonically, if Rocky did actually do that to Grace, Grace would be squashed, his spine would be broken, his internal organs would be squished, probably like grapes. But the thing is that, like, I knew this. A lot of you seem to think I didn't. I did. I just chose to ignore it for the sake of emotional storytelling. I figured, like, you know, it would be a sweet moment, and because this is a fan-made animatic, I didn't have to exactly tailor to logic or canon. I just wanted it to be a sweet moment between them as friends. So, yeah. Moving on. Okay, this next one, it honestly pisses me off just a little bit because it has to do with assumed gender and gender presentation, which I am not a big fan of. But I'm gonna talk about it anyway because a lot of you are pointing this out to me and I'd like to just, broach the subject. So first off, yes, I drew Adrian as much, much larger than Rocky. I'm not the first one to do it. There's actually a lot of it. Like, I was inspired by other artists who have been doing it and it looked fun. I was especially inspired by this one artist on Instagram, their little comic of Grace meeting Adrian. I love that. I wanted to make my own version of that. That's how this animatic came to life. So, then couple. So it wasn't because I was trying to subvert expectations, as Fatima Cheese pointed out in a comment. Although I am curious who this everyone is that she mentioned. If you can back the statement with like a link to a source, I'd love to read it. But in canon, as stated by Andy Weir, the writer of the book that the movie's based on, he stated in a Discord Q&A, which I will link the transcript of in the description. He said that Iridians are hermaphrodites who lay eggs next to their mates to reproduce, which in shorthand means they do not conform to one fixed gender. They've got all the bits going on. They don't even technically conform to anormative ideals of sexuality. Andy Weir literally said there's only one gender, so technically aren't they all homosexual? And he went on to say that they would likely consider all gender politics to be baffling. It's a bunch of things related to a biological process they don't have, which I think is awesome. So that's why I personally had canon Adrian using they-them paradigms rather than she-her, and why I also made them larger than Rocky for the simple fact that just as different people of the same gender can be different heights, so can Iridians. And before you come at me, Andy Weir also did say that Iridians could come in different colors, textures, and different sizes too. Yeah, so thanks again to everyone who likes the animatic. I really appreciate the support. It's really sweet of you guys. I am actually considering making another one that kind of expands on this concept and like looks more at the discussion between Rocky and Grace about like him not having a mate on Earth and like how I can link that with Grace being Arrow Ace. But with this way my schedule is, I don't know when that will be posted. So just stick around. And if you guys have any more questions about the art process or the animatic or just in general, I guess, then you can leave them in the comments and I'll see if I can get around to answering them with a video or in the section. I don't know. So yeah, don't be afraid to give the video a thumbs up.
It's close enough.
And I guess you can follow if you want more content like this. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, to do what you want. Anyway, until next time, cheers.